Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Year 12 Introduction to University and Higher Education evening. We've had a really great day today with the Year 12 students, starting to walk them through the university process. And tonight is an opportunity to give you guys a snippet of the information that we've given the students today, help to give you a little bit of guidance on how to support your son or daughter through their university application journey, and hopefully answer any questions that you may have around the higher education side of things. So I may introduce myself. I'm Mr. Edmonds, Mike Edmonds, for those of you who don't know me, and you'll hear from myself tonight, as well as Miss Laura Murphy, who is our higher education and careers advisor here at the English College. So I'm going to start the night by talking about something I know some of you already heard before, but it's really integral to the whole university application process. So what we've had happen at the English College over the last few years is we've tried to look at how can we support our students further beyond the curriculum. We get some absolutely amazing grades, but we also have some other parts of our students that we need to celebrate. And so the diploma is our way in which we do this. The whole purpose for our diploma at EC is to future-proof your sons and daughters ready for those jobs that haven't been invented yet. Also, we want to make global citizens. We want to produce students who are going to have a positive effect on the world. And that might be through their education and everything, but also just we want to genuinely produce nice people who actually can help in the world. We obviously, as well, with the diploma, are trying to strengthen the already really good college community, and also we want to make your sons and daughters more competitive in the world of applying for university. Now, in terms of where we're at with the diploma, and I know I've talked about this before, we've looked at the World Economic Forum and what they have advised as the key skills for our students. Now, we know that we stretch and challenge our students in the classroom, that we provide a curriculum for them that supports them for university applications, but also we understand how important it is for them to get experiences outside of the classroom that develop some of these key skills here. I do feel like we've got some of our students who are so brilliant at doing tests, but they're not actually prepared for the tests of life as such. And when we look at key skills that we're looking at, things like emotional intelligence, how well that they can interpret people's emotions, and we look at things like cognitive flexibility and how well, that's how resilient our students are in difficult situations. We know that also with all of these skills that we have, that by doing extra things, putting them in unfamiliar situations is going to strengthen these areas of their character. So, as well as that, what I've done is I've done a little bit of research looking at universities and what the universities want. Now, I firmly believe that we have a number of potential students to go on to the top universities in the world. And these are the ones that I had a look at just to see what are they expecting from their applicants. But also, we understand that we're going to have people going to different places, and Miss Murphy will talk about all the different destinations and types of qualifications that we are encouraging our students to do. But if we're looking at the top of the top, so our Harvard University, they actually say there's no such thing as a typical Harvard student. But what they look at, and they've listed this on their website, are things that our diploma actually does. So they look at their growth and potential. How well can they problem solve? How well can they go into an unfamiliar situation and improve? They look at their interests and activities. They look at how they contribute to their own community with a view to how are they going to contribute to the university's community. When we look at Oxford and Cambridge, they mention critical thinking and open-mindedness. And I find this last statement about what they're looking for with their learners really key here. And something that we really want to foster at the English College is having that self-discipline, that motivation, commitment to go beyond what they've learned so far. And so that's just 3 universities that I've picked there. But if you go into the university websites for loads and loads of all of the universities that our students are applying for, these are the sorts of skills that they talk about. Now, our diploma, what it does, and I've shown you this before, these are all kind of key skills that when I was brainstorming with members of staff at the English College and we were looking at students past that have come out of the school, we started to identify key things that we want them to have and take with them. All of those things flashing up on the boards, they were your key kind of things that we think, yeah, we'd love our students to all have these characteristics. So the diploma is set out along those sorts of skills and obviously characteristics that we want to have. We've got a little flashy name with each one of them, and they are called our domains of the diploma. And they are it's a multi-tiered diploma. So I want you to imagine, I know it's difficult to believe so far, but that son or daughter in front of you is going to be going off and leaving and going into the big bad world in just over a year's time. And so when we do that at the English College, we have a graduation ceremony and we get them all dressed up in their gowns and we celebrate their time at the English College. But we also wanted to reward them with something, a qualification as such on top of it. And that's what the diploma does. So at the graduation ceremony, you would actually see your son or daughter achieving the different levels of the diploma. Now, some of those things in there are ultimately designed to make them more marketable to universities. But others of them, I just think, are really, really key skills that our young students should have going into the world. We've got things like the lifesaver. So every single one of our year 12 and year 13 students, we want them to leave the English College with the ability to help in a situation if they see someone drop down in front of them. What do they need to do? We also want to celebrate things like the languages that students have. We want to look at their sporting prowess, how they make a mark in the creative field. So the diploma is designed to get students to think about all other areas that can support their application to university. If you have a look at the next slide, here is actually the different levels of it. So every single student, I believe, would have a certificate from the diploma. All of those green parts at the bottom are actually designed to, they come through the curriculum. So they come through being in lessons, they come through the pastoral time in the morning. The life-saving skills I mentioned, we actually get King's College to come into tutor times in the morning and go through those skills with the students. A lot of you may know that your students have done a super curricular reading presentation over the last 2 months, where we've set the task of the students actually going away and reading something associated with their specialist field or what they want to go to university. And then they've presented it back to their tutor group. So those are all the certificate domains. Then we have the diploma domains. That's the next level of the overall qualification. And what we're looking for is them to achieve 6 of those 8 boxes in the middle. And then for those students who go above and beyond, we have the diploma with honors. And there are 4 key skills at the top there, 4 domains that are actually designed to stretch them even more and actually are kind of like our showpiece domains that would really, really help to set out your son or daughter from someone else. As some of you may be aware, we've had a large number of maths and science external grades. We actually had a massive 51% of our year 12 maths students getting an A grade, which is absolutely amazing. But obviously, if we've had 51 students all getting an A grade, you think about where they might be in comparison to other people in the world. If everyone's getting A grades, we need our students to stand out. And so the diploma is designed to do that. Your son or daughter has actually been working through these since the start of the year. But we've really, really highlighted it today and highlighted the fact that they need to be doing these additional parts. And so that's what we need from you as parents at home to obviously as well keep engaging in the diploma, find out where they're at. If you just go on to the next slide. What we have done as well is we've actually made like a student guide for every single one of them. The QR code might not actually work for the parents there, but it definitely works for the students because it's to do with an EC account. But what it does is it goes through every single domain of the diploma, and it talks through what sorts of evidence do they need to get. And then they're going to log it on our portal, which is Unifrog. And on there, it will develop this huge list of amazing things that they have achieved in the sixth form and work towards the diploma. If we just have a look at an example, for example, we've got the champion there, which is the displayed sustained dedication to sport and exercise at the college. So with that, you can see this is how the guide works. It kind of says, look, these are the things that you need to be doing to satisfy the champion. Now, not only are we trying to make your student more marketable, we're obviously trying to provide them different situations where they can grow even more and they can learn key skills. But also, we're trying to as well get them to think, right, how can I do to support this? What can I do to make my application better? And as Miss Murphy will talk about a little bit later on, they'll have to write a personal statement, and they'll also have references from their teachers. And the more that we have in the diploma, the more that we have to talk about for our students and make them stand out even more. If we move on to the next slide. So as well as that, what we're trying to do is use some of the qualifications that we have going on at the English College. We've got the extended project qualification, which a number of students have signed up for in January. We've got the Duke of Edinburgh Award. We got Lambda, Sports Leaders, King's College. So we have lots and lots of other providers that also factor into this. Next slide. Now, the key points here are every student is doing the diploma. This is not something that your son or daughter needs to sign up to. By being an EC student, that's what they're doing. We're logging all that evidence, and also it provides a really, really nice, almost like transcript of the students of their time at the English College. They're working in collaboration with their tutor, who ultimately logs a lot of these things on there, but also myself, Miss Murphy, we check through all the evidence and we look at it. Now, something that will be coming out over the next week on iSAMS is I will actually send you through a diploma report so that you can actually see where your son or daughter is at in the diploma. We've got a large amount of time between now and finalizing our university applications. So during that time, and particularly over the summer, please encourage your son or daughter to be going through, looking at the diploma. How can they be achieving different parts of the diploma? So that's kind of my little bit and my little chat. This is what we ultimately call our brag sheet of our students. This is what is going to show off to the world and to universities. Now, as we're going through, and we're going to go into more information from Miss Murphy about the ins and outs of the application processes. If you do have any questions, it could be about the diploma or anything else, please type them into the chat as we go along. And then at the end, we'll go through those questions and make sure that we hopefully have answered everything we need to tonight. So I'm going to now pass over to Miss Murphy, who is going to talk through application processes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Edmonds. So now, as we said, the exciting bit, what are the next steps for your child? I'm sure some of you may be fully ready to be sending them off as we're kind of getting to the end of their teenage years, and others will find the process very difficult. So we're here to help you, and the purpose of tonight, like we said, is just to give you a bit of an introduction into the information that has been given to your child, because this is a process for everyone to get involved with, for the school, for the student, for the parents. Now, just quickly, I want to show you some of the places our students from last year went to. Now, this is a very long list of some incredible universities across the world. We've got Exeter, we've got the University of New South Wales, we've got Vancouver Acting School. And this is one of the fantastic things about living in Dubai. Our students really do have a lot of options open to them. Now, 39% of our cohort last year who applied to university in the UK have got into Russell Group universities, which is an incredible achievement and way above the national average. 88% of our students decided to go to university and 12% decided to take a gap year. Now that's a little bit higher than regularly, and that has been because of COVID. Students haven't been quite ready with the situations across the world being as kind of uncertain as they were. They weren't ready to kind of move to a different country just yet. So we had a few more than usual take a gap year, and we are now currently supporting them through their application this year. So the application process, the reason this doesn't have dates on it is because students do go all over the place, and each place has its own system and its own application process and its own deadlines. So this is the general process for everyone. So we are starting here today. We're in our research phase. We are looking at UniFrog with the students. We are discussing the processes and letting them know what they need to do, what they need to expect. They will then start shortlisting countries and universities in discussion with you at home, in discussion with their tutors, and then we begin prepping for the applications depending on where they are applying. And I'm going to go into what is needed for some of our main countries that students go to in a little bit. They will then start writing the applications, checking deadlines all the time, because with university, as you can imagine, they do not accept late applicants. They set a deadline and you have to meet it. Once we send an application, we then hopefully start to be getting lots of offers. I know you can kind of briefly see behind me our wall of offers that we're currently moving our current year 13s across on. And so now is kind of the time when a lot of those are coming in, which is really exciting for the students. Once a student has all of their offers, they will respond, and there may be a deposit to pay depending on what system you are going into. You can then start with visa processes and sorting out accommodation. Then we have results day, and we just double check that everyone has got into where they want to go. If something hasn't gone well on results day, the team are here to help support, and it is not the end of the world. It does feel like that to a lot of students sometimes, but we are here to support. And every student that wants to go to university over the last 4 years has been offered a place. And then finally, you get ready to pack them off. So lots of tears by that point. So as part of the application process for everyone, we will be writing a reference. Now, the majority of university systems need this, but not all of them. The reason we still do this for everyone is because at some point, students contact the school a year or 2 years down the line, and they do say, "Miss, can we please have a reference now?" So we create those for everyone, so we can quality assure them and make sure they are a really high standard. Now, these are collated from comments from the subject teachers. The tutors then draft it with the information from the diploma, information that they know about your child from speaking to them, and they tweak it to make it suitable for the country and course that they are applying to. We then proofread them. I check through them, Mr. Edmonds does, our senior leadership team does, to make sure we have a really strong set of references. Now, we will be as positive as possible. We will never give a negative reference. But as a lot of you know who work in kind of different industries, if you are looking at hiring staff, sometimes what isn't said we can read between the lines on. And that is why we are really pushing students with the diploma and with this information now, so they can make sure they really are the best version of themselves, the best English college student they can be. So it gives us all of this extra material that we can be writing about them. And I do find at this school, we are running out of word count saying positive things about them, which is really fantastic. Now, the references are kept confidential. The reason for this is so that they maintain their integrity. We can hand on heart say that we are giving an honest reference of that child. But I do want to assure you, I check every single reference. I ensure that it is appropriate, it is positive, and it is selling the key skills and successes of your child. So please, sometimes the students particularly can get a little bit worried about that because they want to know what we're saying about them. And what we're saying will essentially be what they've put on Unifrog about themselves. We're collating that into a reference. So the more they put on there, the more they're working towards the diploma, the more we have got to write. Now, along those lines, and kind of part of the reason why they are kept confidential is there is a little bit of an issue within Dubai with some agents, university agents. Now, I am not saying all agents there is a problem with, but there are unfortunately some companies who do prey on kind of parents wanting the best for their child, wanting to make sure they get into university. They charge an awful lot of money, promising the world with that, and unfortunately their means of getting a student in isn't always ethical. When we take a look at UCAS's statistics from last year, the 2021 cycle, you can see that students who applied through a centre, 28%, so 165 applications were flagged. That would be because they were suspicious of plagiarism within the application. And within independent, so this is people who have gone with an agent, it was 415 that were flagged. Now, the next step along, applications that were withdrawn and cancelled and students were no longer able to apply for a spot, out of apply centres, that was 10, so 10%. Out of independent agencies, that was 100 students and 90% overall. So you can see there why where we're being very cautious. So our policy is we will not work with an agency. If that is your choice, if that is the route you want to go down, then that is your prerogative completely. But as a school, I am here, Mr. Edmonds is here, our tutor team here are all here to help support you and get your child into the university that they want to go to. So please use us, please use the sources that are available to you within the school. Now, next step is predicted grades. This is another area that can sometimes be quite kind of nerve-wracking for the student, and there can sometimes be some confusion over. So I will be sending out a letter in a couple of weeks' time to go over this in more detail for you as well. Now, the predicted grades for university are completely different to the grades that are on your student's report that gets sent home via ISAM. That is the school's internal reporting system of what the teacher currently thinks they're at with a very realistic approach. So the university predicted grades, we use the saying we say optimistic but realistic, and we will be as optimistic as possible based on what we have seen from your child and the progress they are making. So there's 3 inputs for the predicted grades. The first will be in June. Now, I know that seems very early, and these do tend to be a little bit lower, so don't panic. There's a reason we do 3. These tend to be a little bit lower because I know for me as a drama teacher, there are certain areas within our course that we've not even begun to cover yet, and we won't until year 13. So I've not seen those particular skills from those students yet. Another reason it might be a bit lower is because some students do have their heads in the sand a little bit, and it's only now when we have mocks, when we have HE day, that they start to get a bit of a realization that time is ticking on and they don't actually have that long left until they leave us. So we have the first one in June. That will then be reassessed after the AS results come out, because we believe if a student shows they can get a B at AS level, there's no reason we can't maintain that or improve it in year 13. And then finally, the final input will be in October based on how they have settled into the year 13 course. So that is the predicted grade situation. Like I said, I will send a letter out about this because it can become a little bit confusing. And I know there's a lot of terminology that gets thrown out around these, but university predicted grades are the ones that are recorded on UniFrog, and they are what will be sent to universities. These are our positive ones. They are optimistic, but realistic. So, where in the world does your child want to be? Our most popular destinations are the UK. The kind of biggest slice of our kids go to the UK. We then have a mix of Canada, the US, the Netherlands, and also the UAE. So for the UK, to apply, we do it through UCAS. Now, the application portal for students will open in May, and I will be doing workshops with them about how to set that up and how to fill it in. It's basically a form where you put in your personal details, additional information, some financial kind of information if you are looking at home status, so you hold a British passport, the choices you want to make, your education and grades, and then the biggest thing for students is the personal statement. The personal statement is essentially an essay where they are really able to sell themselves and their love for a subject. Now, I won't read all of this to you, and I am going to send this PowerPoint out, but this is an example of a personal statement that we looked at this morning with your students, and it's from one of my previous students who went on to study medicine at the University of Nottingham. So he begins with, "My pursuit for a degree in medicine has been fueled by my two biggest interests, the study of science and the act of helping people. Academically, I was captivated by the structures of the body, such as the speciality of the," and I'm going to apologise here for my pronunciation to all the scientists out there, oh, Mr. Edmonds, you're going to have to teach me that one, "in my GCSE studies, which fascinated me and made biology at A-level a clear choice. Along with hearing of recent research into HIV fighting super antibodies, I am excited to explore about the human body as an undergraduate. Since working in my customer service role, I have found the invaluable reward of working with a variety of people and using my knowledge and initiative to make genuine difference, which is a skill set I hope to transfer to a clinical setting. These two areas find themselves intertwined in the medical profession, so I believe this is the perfect career for me to pursue." Now, I'm not going to read the whole statement to you, it does go on, but I am just going to pick out some features that made this successful. He clearly has an understanding of his subject and current things that are happening in that at the moment, current research. He's very well read. He also makes links between his learning and his part-time job and how that is going to make him a good medicine student. He goes on to talk about his work experience placement and doesn't just say that he does it, but says exactly what he did whilst on that placement and what he learned from it. He then ties that in with being a blood donor with his EPQ research project, which he also got an A star for, which was on medical ethics in regards to the Charlie Gard case. He then goes on again to tie in how he's seen different kind of members of a team work in a hospital and how he thinks he's good at teamwork. So it's all tied together. His head boy role links in again to being a medicine student. So I will send this out to you. The students do have a copy, and on Unifrog there are loads of examples of really strong personal statements for you to have a look at. And so I do suggest you read those in the subject area that your child is applying for, so you know and can support them with writing that as well as us at school. Some notes about the UK. As I've mentioned, we do have some students who hold a British passport who will be looking at home status. I will be sharing lots of information with them about that and with you at home. So that will be coming. For any of our Cambridge and Oxford applicants, which judging from today, we are going to have loads in this cohort, and lots of students seemed really keen to apply. It is an early application for them. The deadline is in October, as it is with medicine, dentistry and veterinary science. And you can only apply to Cambridge or Oxford. You cannot apply to both. And some courses, such as medicine or law, may need extra tests. So that is something to be aware of. But again, something we are making students aware of now, so they've got plenty of time to prepare for those. If you do not hold a passport from a kind of English first language country, your child may be required to complete an English proficiency course. This is nothing to worry about. Our students, again, work in English to a very high standard, so they tend to find this quite easy, but it's just part of the process of getting in. This is the same for English taught courses across Europe and some other countries around the world too. So just be aware that your child may need to do that. Now, Canada is another popular option, and some of the pros of Canada is it is a very easy application system. It tends to just be a form that you fill in with your personal details and then a transcript of your grades that you can request from our exams officer. The deadlines do vary a lot in Canada though, so it's important that your child is monitoring those applications on Unifrog so they know the deadlines. Canada can be a little bit funny with BTECs. I know any of you who have come to options evenings as we were going into year 12, I will have brought this up. It's not impossible, but it may limit our options a little bit for Canada if your child is currently studying a BTEC. So if that is a route you're going down, get your child to come see me and I will work on a plan of action with them. And I can write to the university admissions teams explaining exactly what a BTEC is. Now, the Netherlands has kind of risen in popularity, and there are several reasons for this. It is a very affordable location for a lot of students. It's living costs and tuition fees. It is also a little bit easier to get into in regards of the grades needed. They tend to ask for 3 Cs. Now, it is also still a very well respected education system with very strong universities. The reason they ask for 3 Cs is because in the Netherlands, they recognise that the learning that happens at university is very different to school. So they want to be able to give more students that opportunity to get into higher education and prove themselves in a certain area. At the same time, it's not as nice as that sounds up till that point, because the first year is a probation year. So although the grades are lower to get in, if you do not pass your first year, you are unfortunately kicked out, whereas other education systems will let you repeat at least 1 year if you were to fail. So the dropout rate from the Netherlands can be quite high because of this. If we've got students who maybe have worked very hard and just messed up their exams a little bit at the final push, and that's why their grades were a little bit lower, they tend to go on and succeed in this environment. If we have students who have scraped by without trying very hard, they are the type that may struggle with the independence and this particular education system. But that doesn't apply to any of our students because ours are all fantastic. Now, with the Netherlands as well, they have general admission or Numerus Fixus admission. Numerus Fixus is for the kind of more competitive courses because they need to be able to kind of cut it down somehow with all those extra people applying. That basically means a fixed number of places. So if a course has 100 spaces, every student will do a task or an exam that they will get ranked on. The first 100 will be given an offer if that's how many places there are. If you were 108 on that list and 8 people didn't accept their offer, then you would get an offer. Obviously though, if you're 256 out of 100, it is unlikely that that many people are going to drop out. You can only apply to 2 Numerus Fixus courses in a year as well. So that is something to be aware of. The application for the Netherlands is done on a centralised system like the UK called StudyLink, which again, I will workshop with your students so they're very confident with how to use it. Our final one is the USA, the kind of one of our big hitters. Now the Common App is fully integrated to Unifrog now, which is so much easier in terms of sending paperwork because the US does require quite a bit of extra paperwork. We can record transcripts, recommendation letters, sometimes CVs, portfolios, all in that one place and send it to every university in a couple of clicks, which is fantastic. A lot of universities in the US now are becoming SAT optional. This was kind of coming in, and then with COVID, a lot of universities fed up with that. And that basically means it is truly optional if you want to do the SAT, if they are an SAT optional school. If you choose not to do them, you are not at a disadvantage. It is just one thing that is considered when they look at your application. So that is something to think about. And again, the Common App, we will be working on the essay side of that with students. Now, some of our other popular destinations, we have students go to Spain, to Belgium, to Germany, to the Czech Republic, different places across Europe. Now, these tend to be direct applications with the university. And again, there is a whole range of deadlines that we need to be aware of. We have a few students who want to go to Egypt. Egypt can sometimes be a little bit difficult with the paperwork. So if we do have any students who are considering Egypt, please encourage them to keep coming to see me and updating me on their plans, because the more we know, the more we can help and the more time we will have. Now, the UAE, again, for the last couple of years, has become a lot more popular with our students at the English College, partly down to COVID and students not wanting to be far away from home, and partly because education opportunities in the UAE for higher education have been really improving over the last few years. And there are some really good universities here that students can go and study at. And then finally, Australia, again, a very kind of well-respected education system. But something to be aware of with Australia is their year runs from January to December. So if your child is considering Australia, they won't actually apply until after they have got their results for A-level. Now, even when you leave us, we are still here to support you. So if that is the case for you, if you are applying to Australia, we're still here. We'll still help with anything you need. Just let us know. So what do you consider when choosing a university? The distance from home and travel access, this can be a big one. We have students go all over the place. Some are a little bit more wanting to be able to come home regularly every holiday. Some are quite independent and can go to the other side of the world and be completely independent and fine with that. You know your child, you kind of know what's right for them. So it is something to consider. If they do kind of need to be able to come home quickly, you might want to think about that. And even within a country, how far away are they going to be from an airport? The cost is actually the biggest factor for a lot of parents. And it's really important that you have this conversation with your child and discuss what the budget is, what the expectation is regarding financing. We did have a situation this year where a student applied to the university that he really wanted to go to. He hadn't discussed it with his parents. He got an offer and he wasn't able to go because there wasn't any scholarships he was suitable for. He couldn't go to that university down to the finances. And he was obviously very disappointed. So please avoid that situation occurring. Have those open conversations with your child so they know what parameters they should be working in. When you are looking at universities, you should look at their facilities, their extracurriculars and their accommodation. It's somewhere that your child is going to be living for 3 to 4, maybe 7 years if we are going for courses like medicine. We want to see, yes, that it's an amazing course, but also what else does it offer? What type of lifestyle are they going to have there? When you're looking at a university, I'm sure the first thing you do is check the rankings. Now, please take these with a pinch of salt. They are a good guideline, but when we start filtering rankings and we look at different rankings from different kind of systems, it does vary greatly. And what we should really be focusing on is it the right place, the right course for your child, for our students, and does it offer the things that they need? If you are going to go and study media studies, the university that is best for that is going to be very different to a university that specialises in history or is known for being very strong in that field. So do look at the rankings, do consider them, but take them with a pinch of salt. It shouldn't be the sole basis of your decisions. Considering campus and non-campus unis, a city uni is basically where we have lots of buildings around a city normally, and students are kind of living amongst the community. A campus uni, they've got their own little village with a shop, a doctor's, a laundrette, which lots of them looked horrified at earlier. So particularly for international students, if we are going to a country that we've not lived in before, that we're not familiar with, a campus uni might be the better option, just to kind of make sure they've got that security safety net of everything being on their doorstep. And finally, I'm going to just talk about support. Now, sometimes students can get a little bit reluctant about disclosing, for example, any special educational needs that they have. when we send a university application off, the admissions team don't get that information. And this also includes things to do with mental health. So it can be a physical need, a learning need, or a mental health need. Now, all that does is once a university has accepted a student, it triggers that they are entitled to certain support. So it is nothing to do with them actually getting in. It's actually for afterwards, for looking after their well-being. So please do be honest, disclose anything on those forms so that we can make sure that we're letting the universities know what you need. So our next steps, I'm nearly done. Be doing the research now. There are lots of online tours and open days. Not many good things have come from COVID, but that is one pro for us as an international school. We are able to get involved with lots more online events. Discuss with your child what they've explored today, what they're thinking at the moment, and also these ideas of how they're going to stand out. What will they do between now and that application going off? A reminder to make sure we stick to deadlines. Let's get them on the fridge at home. Let's keep a track of them and make sure we're hitting them. I will constantly be nagging your children as well. They will be sick of me by the end of next year. And please encourage your child to actively use UniFrog and to complete any tasks that we set on it, to keep working hard, keep their grades up, and begin filling in the applications. Now, the biggest thing I want to communicate to you guys is please seek support. I've only scratched the surface just now with you about university applications. There is so much more questions I'm sure you have and information that you're going to want. Please do use us. We've got a fabulous tutor team who can answer questions. It's my job to make sure everyone is happy and confident with the decisions they're making. So please do ask us. So up here we have got our fabulous tutor team. If you are not familiar with who your child's tutor is, myself and Mr. Edmonds, I'm just temporarily blonde at the moment. And also we do have the parent login for UniFrog. So I know we keep saying UniFrog, it's an absolutely fabulous tool, and you are able to access that as well and get all of the information from it. And I do keep sending out letters with the login for UniFrog on there, and I will keep doing so because it really is the best place to find information and to manage university applications. So that is me done. That's my spiel for today. We're now going to take any questions from the chat. Mr. Edmonds, do we have any?
Miss Murphy, we do, yes. We'll take these together. So some questions about the diploma earlier on. So can extracurricular activities, certifications and accomplishments be included in the diploma process? Absolutely, yes. There are a number of the parts of the diploma that are, we do ask for a college involvement, but then there are also a number of things that our students do that will supplement their university applications, which we can also use as evidence. So my kind of recommendation to the students today was put information into UniFrog for the diploma. Next question was, will external activities or sports be included in the diploma? Yeah, we've just covered that, as I said. Again, if in doubt, always just ask. We normally say as well that we try to aim to have the activities within the last year or two and not just listing things back from when they were 11, unless they were an amazing accomplishment that we need to acknowledge in their applications. We also had a question about what type of community service can EC students be a part of? Now that's definitely dropped off a little bit with COVID, but now we're getting far more opportunities coming through to the college. Internally and in-house, we actually have, we're going to have a program setting up with reading down in the FS and in the primary, but also I know things like Dubai Marathon's coming up at the end of the year. We'll be supporting that. And again, as parents, if you see any opportunities that you would like us to get involved in, then please forward them through. We have links with the Conservation Society in Dubai as well. And so we're always looking for more and more opportunities. We've been asked about the credibility of the English College Diploma, and because it's a local certificate. So it's a really good question. Obviously, it is something that we do in-house here, but with our school and with our college, what we have to do is we have to write a statement about what we offer here. So to America, to the UK, we will actually include the diploma and all of the things that that involves, so that the universities can understand how much work we do with our students externally. Miss Murphy, we got asked, what about BTEC? Everything seems to be about A-level. Do you want to take that?
Yeah, so I apologise. I say A-levels as a shorthand. I mean level 3 qualifications, including BTEC. So as I mentioned, if you are considering Canada, that is the only place where BTEC can be a little bit iffy. The majority of other places around the world, it is fully accepted. The UK, absolutely everywhere. Around Europe, we've never had any problems. Occasionally, for some American universities that are the smaller universities, I send a letter just explaining what the qualification is. But I apologise, when I've been saying A-levels, I mean level 3 qualifications. So the qualifications your child will be leaving the school with.
We had a question about supporting EU universities, say Dutch, and I know we mentioned the Netherlands, but we also had a question about, do we place students in Ireland?
So we have had a couple of applications in the last few years for the Republic of Ireland. We've not had any students accept those, though. They've decided to go elsewhere, but I can absolutely support with the application. They did get offers, they just chose to go to a different country. We do have a student from 2 years ago in Northern Ireland, but that is done through the UCAS system, as it is part of the United Kingdom, and the Republic of Ireland has a separate system. But absolutely, I can support with that.
We've also been asked, can we know the number of students each year that go to Oxbridge or London Imperial or other top universities from EC?
Good. So on the spot there, I can give you the total number of Russell Group universities. So within the UK, they are considered the top universities in terms of the rankings. They're a group of universities that consistently rank high. They're very established. And they produce a lot of very cutting edge research. So I have been here for 4 years in the cohorts that I've been working with. We have had, in my first year, it was 25% of our students that applied went to Russell Group universities. In 2020, it was 31%, and then last year went up to 39% of UK applicants from our school. So that is our current numbers, and we hope to keep that on a very upward positive trend.
We've had Unifrog access code for parents, TEC parent isn't working. Please reset or provide access. Thank you. Oh, my light has gone up.
I apologise. I'm not sure why that wouldn't be working. Let me look into that, and I'll contact Unifrog and ask why, and then communicate that out with you, because that should be working. So leave that with me.
We've also had, I think, more of a diploma question, which is, what about part-time work experience, summer jobs, events? Absolutely, those things can apply to the diploma. We have a domain called The Professional, which actually looks at the working world and their university courses. So that would be a brilliant one to put in there. And actually advanced information also, the last week of the summer term is set for year 12 work experience. So again, this is another area where students can go out into the working world and they can reference that as a domain for the professional in the EC diploma. I believe I've answered, or we've asked all the questions, Miss Murphy. Have you got anything else to add?
No, just if you do think of anything afterwards, like I say, you know where we are, please do contact us, and we will do our best to answer those questions, or send your child to come speak to us. They know where the office is, they know where I'm based. So yeah, just keep talking to us is our biggest message, really. We want to make sure students, parents, staff, we're all on the same page, working towards the same goal.
Yeah, and I think today it has been a really, really great day with year 12. So please talk to them about this. I know they're teenagers and some of them won't talk to you, but please try to engage with them as much as possible over what they've learned today, what they found out. Talk to them about the diploma, talk to them about what countries they're thinking of going to. And please, the more you guys talk with them and need more communication with us, the better. But thank you so much for coming this evening. Lots of information there. We will make this video and recording available on ISAMS as well, and on the EC YouTube channel, I believe. So yeah, you'll get the opportunity to look at this information again. But thank you so much, and please have a lovely, lovely evening. All right, take care.
Thank you, bye.